Are you having a tough time finding the right vendors for your wedding? Lucky for you, you stumbled across the perfect video for you.
It's a beautiful night. We're looking for something dumb to do. Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you.
Hey, I'm Bree with Wedding Planner Bree, and today I'm here to talk about researching and vetting your wedding vendors to make sure that your wedding is absolutely flawless. The first thing that I want to discuss today is obviously just the importance of researching and vetting your vendors. I've talked about this in my last video, but having great vendors is so important to the overall success of your wedding day. So first step is always going to be to research and vet them. It's so important because you could have a wedding where the DJ, like I mentioned in my last video, has never really DJ'd before. And if they try to do it the entire time, it's not gonna be good. Or I've had to DJ a wedding in the past, but that's not my thing. I'm not a DJ, I'm an event coordinator. So you wanna make sure that your DJ is going to be there for you. Your DJ know how to run the day. Same with a florist. You want to make sure that they know what they're doing so that your flowers look amazing. You want to make sure that your bakery knows how to make a cake and is going to make your cake correctly and make it taste good. So obviously there's a bunch of other different vendors as well that you want to vet and make sure. So any vendor that you get for your wedding, you want to vet. Now let's get into how to research and vet your vendors. First thing, when you are going to go start looking for vendors, is you, your significant other, parents, grandparents, whoever's helping you pay, need to set a budget, because you can't really look for vendors until you have a budget set so that you know how much you can spend on each vendor. After you do that, research. Research is huge. There's a lot of different ways that you can research vendors. So obviously the biggest one is online. You can research vendors. You can Google them. You can Google, DJs in my area and find the ones with, 5 stars or whatever you're looking for. You can social media search. You can look for any vendors in the Bay Area that are photographers. You can search on social media. Another big one, obviously not right now because we're not really having wedding fairs, but is wedding fairs. Usually those are nice because you can actually speak to that vendor in person from the get-go and kind of get an idea of who they are, what they do, how much they charge, things like that, which is nice. Obviously word of mouth. So if you've had any friends who have gotten married in the last couple of years even, it's likely that whoever they used as a vendor is still doing that. Like their photographer is definitely probably still a photographer. So word of mouth is huge. And then obviously if you have a coordinator or planner, a lot of times they'll help you with that, but if it's just like a day of coordinator, you can even ask them like, hey, do you have any recommendations? Oftentimes they will be definitely more than willing to help you. After researching, you want to go ahead and schedule some appointments with these vendors. So you want to make sure that you can talk to them face to face, because whether that's a video or not, even if you're trying to plan a wedding right now, you can video chat them. And if they're not willing, okay, then maybe they're not the right vendor for you. But you basically want to ensure their competence in whatever area that they say that they're professional in. You also, I would say, generally want to book at least 2, maybe 3 appointments for each category. So don't just meet with one DJ. I would meet with at least 2 or 3 DJs, so that way you have your choice, because it's definitely different. Everyone has a different vibe. You might vibe with someone that another person didn't. So you always just want to make sure that you do meet them face to face and kind of ensure that what they're doing, meet with a few. And then you also just kind of want to, like I said, judge their personality as well. So you want to make sure that they are somebody who you like their personality, especially if it's a DJ, he's going to be, emceeing, running your night. You want to make sure that that person knows what they're doing, kind of has a similar personality to yours, or at least a personality that you like as well. And then also their skill. Skill is huge, just mostly because you want to make sure that the product, whatever it is that you're getting for your wedding, is correct. And I kind of already touched on this, but like you want your caterer's food to taste good, right? You want your bakery's cake to look good. You want your flowers to look good. You want your DJ to do a good job. You want the photos that your photographer takes to come out amazing. So you also just kind of want to ask them for referrals. Referrals is our next topic. So you want to ask them, okay, can I see, if it's a photographer, can I see photos from weddings before? If it's a bakery, can I see photos from the cake you did before? You can also ask, like, if it's a wedding coordinator, let's just say, you can ask for referrals from clients that they've had in the past. So you can ask, hey, do you have any brides that I could maybe talk to? Just, it's all part of vetting. Trust me, I would, as a coordinator, rather you vet me than hire somebody who is not going to do a good job for you. It's not like it's an insult. And then you also can look for referrals at online reviews. Obviously, sometimes those are skewed a little bit, so make sure you're looking at the right websites. And then, like I just kind of mentioned, their portfolio. So you want them to show you things that they've done in the past so that you can make sure it fits your style as well. And then next thing would be to make a list. So when you're meeting with these people, you're going to want to make a list of things that you want so that you can ensure that these people can do the things that you want. And you also want to have a list of questions to ask them. Some questions that you want to ask your vendors would be, how many weddings a year do you do? How many weddings have you done? How long has it been since you did a wedding? You know, that you want to make sure that they're fully versed, they've done it before, they know what they're doing. How much do your services cost? Obviously, we talked about budget in the beginning. You have to make sure that your person can afford, that you can afford this person's services. If you can't, then why are you even going to discuss anything with them, right? What's included in the cost? So what are you going to do for me included in that cost? You know, as a coordinator, oh, I'm going to create a floor plan, a timeline, this. As a photographer, oh, you get 8-hour session. I'll be there when you're getting ready and throughout the wedding, and then I'll leave while you guys are dancing. I'll get some dancing photos, but then I'll leave. As a bakery, it's this, this, and this. You want to make sure exactly what they include so that there's no surprises, right? And then for cancellation policy, do you have a cancellation policy? What is your cancellation policy? What's going to happen if this? What's going to happen if this? This is especially relevant right now with COVID, just because there has been so many wedding cancellations, wedding rescheduling. So you always want to ask those types of questions when you're meeting with a vendor, plus any other questions you can think of. There's no wrong question. So whatever you can think of, just ask the question, because you're going to need to know, right? And then you also kind of want to make sure what restrictions they have. So, or if like the venue has restrictions, just so you know what's going to happen, right? The next topic would be negotiating. So prices aren't always set. There can be some negotiating. Obviously, that depends on the vendor, whether they're going to negotiate or not. But I mean, you can always try. The worst answer you're going to get is no. Okay. But at least you tried. And hey, maybe you did get a discount. Who knows? Lastly, before you sign a contract of any sort with any vendor, you want to go over that contract thoroughly. You want to read it all. You want to make sure that everything you discussed is in the contract. Make sure that there's not any little stipulations in the contract that you didn't talk about. And if you do find anything or have any questions, ask them. And be straight up with them, and you'll usually be able to tell whether they're kind of lying to you or not, you know. And then obviously that last step would be to sign the contract. And then you have those vendors, you work with them. You want to make sure you kind of set up some meetings with those vendors ahead of time. And, you know, just keep in contact with them as much as possible. It is their job to stay in contact with you. So don't be afraid to stay in contact with them. All right. If you guys have any other questions about researching or vetting vendors, obviously you can leave comments in the section below. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.